Foreign Minister in Cairo. Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers to follow up on the efforts to replace the imports and provide local production requirements for the national industry, in addition to the developments in the establishment of the industrial cities and complexes. During the meeting, the President directed to continue strengthening efforts to deepen the local industries and localized technology with the aim to provide high-quality products to meet the needs of the local market and bridging the gap between the exports and the imports. The President also asserted the keenness on establishing the industrial complexes and increase the volume of Egyptian exports abroad to support the national economy. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi sent a message to the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. The message was delivered by the intelligence chief Abbas Kamel, who was delegated to hold talks with the Palestinian and the Israeli leaderships. The details follow.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi dispatched a senior security delegation to the Palestinian and Israeli territories to discuss means of keeping the ceasefire truce and the reconstruction plans for the Gaza Strip. President Sisi tasked the intelligence chief, General Abbas Kamel, and his delegation, who also visited the occupied Palestinian territories, with hammering out a permanent ceasefire deal. Kamel delivered a message from President Sisi to the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, conveying Egypt's full support to the Palestinian people, leadership, and Egypt's keenness on the interests of the Palestinian people. In his message, the President also stressed that the Palestinian cause will remain a top priority for Egypt. During the meeting, General Kamel and Mahmoud Abbas agreed to hold a series of meetings with the General Secretariats of the Palestinian factions in Cairo as part of Egypt's efforts to unify the Palestinian position. President Sisi also tasked Kamel with working to help iron out political divisions between Hamas in Gaza and Fatah in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. The talks tackled the latest developments linked to the truce, as well as the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian National Dialogue. Meanwhile, intelligence chief met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem to defuse any escalation and secure a permanent ceasefire. Kamel also met with the Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz as they discussed means of keeping the ceasefire truce and the prisoners issue. Egypt played a pivotal role in negotiating the May 21st ceasefire between Palestinians and Israelis that brought an end to 11 days of deadly violence.
Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry received the Israeli Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi. The ministry spokesman Ahmed Hafez stated that the visit comes within the framework of the Egyptian communication with the Palestinian and the Israeli sides to consolidate the ceasefire between Israel and the Gaza Strip. The details.
During a meeting with visiting Israeli counterpart Gabi Ashkenazi, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry stressed the need to build on a truce between Israel and Hamas by stopping all practices that lead to escalation. During the meeting, Shoukry stressed the need to build on the declaration of a ceasefire by stopping all practices that lead to tension and escalation of confrontation in the Palestinian-occupied territories. Shoukry reaffirmed Egypt's firm position that reaching a two-state solution is the only way to achieve the just and lasting peace, security and stability sought for the region. Shoukry reaffirmed the right of the Palestinian people of self-determination through the establishment of their independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital, based on the June 4, 1967 lines and complying with the relevant international references. Hafez said the two ministers also discussed ways to facilitate the urgent reconstruction of the Gaza Strip during the coming stage. They also agreed to continue consultation between the two countries and the Palestinian National Authority to discuss how to get out of the current stalemate in the peace process. The statement also said that Shoukry affirmed the need to take into account the special sensitivity associated with East Jerusalem, Al-Aqsa Mosque and all Islamic and Christian holy sites. Egypt reiterated its call for creating an appropriate atmosphere to revive talks between Israelis and Palestinians with the aim of reaching a just and comprehensive peace settlement. The ministers' talks were part of Egypt's relentless and continued efforts to revive the peace track and to build on the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
For the 15th consecutive day, the Egyptian authorities are keeping the Rafah border crossing with the Gaza Strip opened exceptionally to receive the injured and to deliver assistance. The stranded are also around to cross on both sides of the crossing. Officials said that the Egyptian side is keeping the crossing opened to ease the suffering of the Palestinians in accordance with the directives of the Egyptian leadership. They said that all the medical and the administrative teams are present at the crossing to facilitate the entry of the injured, and those accompanying them and equip the ambulances are kept ready to transfer the injured.